single flame can light a million more.
Man, this is a sad story right here. This box. Come over here and let me grab an actual 2879. So, what we got here, this box has been here already once. The previous owner of this box sold it on eBay. And it used to have a squirrel cage blower that was attached to the side over here to this square hole. Weird thing. And then it's got this is a blue LED fan, but this is a real low velocity. It doesn't move very much air. So he wanted to have the blue fan. Then on the side he's strapped on this loud squirrel cage deal, but that's not where the weirdness starts. Okay, so this thing shows up here about 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago. And somebody been in here and tried to be me. If you look in here real close, you see it's got the 5-watt resistors in it, right? I like kind of trademark thing. But then, if we go down here and look, let me get something to prop this up on. There we go. That'll work. We go in here and we look at these Toshiba supposedly transistors. Now, I don't know if you guys can remember a couple months ago. Focus. A couple months ago, like, about a year ago, I did a video on the inside of a fake Toshiba. Now I want you to look at the two side by side here. Look at the print. See how the Toshiba is a little bit bolder? See how the print's just slightly different? See that? Focus. It's right at its limit of focus ability there. Grab a flashlight so we can make sure we got even light on this so nobody think I'm playing tricks here. You see the difference in the logo? See the difference in the Japan? And if you look underneath natural light, you'll see that this here is almost an orange and not a red. The other thing you'll notice is that the tabs on this, when I pull these out, they're going to have real short tabs on them. These transistors come off a flea base someplace. Now, the only reason that this amp sticks out in my mind is because it had that little squirrel cage blower attached to it, and then as soon as I took it apart and I figured out it had these fake transistors in it, because I pulled, if you look over here, this transistor right here is popped, and I pulled it out. As soon as I pulled it out, and this is for the previous owner, I pulled it out and I went, oh my god, this thing's got them weird, funky, straight out of China copy transistors. You guys might be familiar with the video where I popped the tops off, what's really on the inside of a DEI and blah blah blah. I don't know, I got like 5,000 views or something like that. That video has these same transistors in it. And come to find out, the internal architecture of the transistor is closer to a 455 than it is to an actual Toshiba. Well, that's what we got going on here. So I called the original owner up and I said, man, look, you're going to owe me about $400 for the transistors because it's a straight 6 bill. It's not just the cost of the parts, you got to, pay me for my time. And I said, this whole fan configuration you have in here isn't really going to work out too well. I mean, they waffle stomp the cabinet and then cut a big hole. So now I got to cut some plates out and I got to fix this. Cut another plate out and fix this, right? And it's all because of that low velocity fan. If you put a high velocity fan in it, the air wraps through this slot and is able to exhaust out the backside of the cabinet. It works beautifully. Well, the amp sat here for a couple months, and then the guy called me up and says, no, I'm not going to get it fixed. Don't worry about it. Box it up and ship it home. So that's what we did. Boxed it up, shipped it home. Totally makes sense. He got it. He supposedly bought it at a yard sale or from a friend or something or other, and then he got the transistors. His buddy bought them for him off eBay, and they looked like Toshibas, and they put them in here, and it lasted just for a second, and then it quit doing what it was supposed to be doing, and then anyhow, it goes back on eBay, gets bought by another guy. The guy held on to it for like 3 or 4 days after he hooked it up, figured out it wasn't working right, turned around and sent it up here. So I get it yarded out of the box, and I go through it, and I call him up to tell him that it's definitely got a bad transistor in it. He says to me on the phone, man, I don't know if you've seen that cabinet. And I said, yeah, man, I just had one come through here. It was all waffle stomped out like this. And he goes, did it have a blower on it? And I said, like a little CPU blower? And he goes, yeah. And I said, oh, god damn, this thing's been here before. I said, that thing had fake transistors. I said, oh my god, this box looks so familiar. I looked down inside, sure enough, it's got the fake transistors in it. Well, unlike the previous owner, this guy wants to get it fixed. So that whole backstory aside, let's focus on the present here. That whole backstory aside, we're going to rip out these 6 transistors. We're going to put a real high flow fan in this thing. We're going to build some little guards so that the air cannot flow out the sides of the cabinet, and it can actually wrap around the heatsink and come out the other end. I might actually dig around. I think I have a junk xforce cabinet around here that I can steal the lid off of it. And it might be a little bit better off than this one. It might not be cleared though. I'll have to look. I got a lot of extra parts. So anywho, that's where we're at and that's what we're doing. Junk. Completely fake. And I mean, they asked me the question, can you just replace the one transistor? I said, sure, if I knew what the part was. I don't keep these. I don't have these in stock. I don't know what these are. No one knows what these are. They're just some part that they slapped a 2879 logo and look-alike on it. So, Audi old. We're going to put in new. Okay, I'll be back. Ooh, look at what I found. Look at what I found. The cabinet this pairs with is one of my old boxes from way back in the middle and no time ago. Man, this is probably 4 years, 5, 6 years ago. The cabinet's all smashed, but look at this. Oh. No holes. Nice to have a plethora of parts laying around. Yay! I have to build ugly little plates for the side. Okay, off to the races. Okay. So we're going to rip this sucker apart real fast. Some tools here. Trusty old dental pick. And trusty old screwdriver. Okay. This is a stock 2879 actual real deal, real McCoy, okay? That's sitting right there. Let's rip this apart real quick. These guys are so stoked, the dudes that are involved with this box. I can't believe I'm actually working on it right now. I'm like, well, why not? It's all going to get changed when I put this back together. I got some Mother Nature today. It was sure nice. Mother Nature's been running north-south, so there's not a whole lot of people that have been on the band. I got Bamboo down there, and we got a couple other guys. Shockwave and them guys, and Old Power Machete. He got me today. He finally got me when the band started to shut down. He was able to get over me. But the band flip-flopped here recently. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but the band flip-flopped. Now instead of going north-south, it's going east-west again, finally, for the fall. Thank you, Jesus. Radio to me has just been dead. It's been dead silent. Shh. I had 50, 60 dBs of skip today. It was awfully nice. So, you guys all know my rule. You don't reuse pill screws. Why? Because pill screws, once you put them in the box and torque them down on the transistor, they're made of really, really soft metal. And the head torques away from the threads just a little bit. So if you go to reuse them, the head can snap off in the heatsink, or the head can snap off, leaving just the leg on the screw down in the heatsink. Then you got to try and drill that out and tap it. Not worth it. All them fuckers in the trash, man. They're cheap. They're like, what, $2 a bag for 100 of them? Since we live in this land of pretty much universal interchangeable parts, I mean, all the cabinets come from basically the same place or the same format. And the hole diameter is universal. Unless they've been mucked with beforehand, you can just pitch them and use new screws. Okay, so what I wanted to show you guys is I pull out this first transistor. Is this right here. Look at how short the tab legs are on that. Focus. You physically see the difference now, right? And the material makeup, this is just a little bit shinier. This is a little duller. It's not the heat sink cream. It's the material makeup of the foot's slightly different. But the tab length on the transistors is it's way screwed up. It's like a DEI. They're all over the place. There's no... So I pull 100 of these out of a bag. The tab length, the gold part, will all be the same length. Focus. The tab length will all be the same length, where these are all tiny little nubs. You can physically see the difference between the print, the color, and the other thing is if you look, they're not printed on their square. They're all at a slightly different angle, like somebody did it by hand. So, yep, fake. Having that short tab leg really cuts down on the amount of current that could flow into the part. Man, it's not even small. Here, this tab's even smaller than the last one. God, look at that. This is the one that's got the bad 10 ohmer on it, so we know it's chooched. And these guys are so sideways in this box. They paid $300 and something for this amp off of eBay already. Now they got to go around, they got to pay me almost $600, you know, because 400 and something of that's transistors, and then the time and the labor, then plus I'm going to go through and I'm going to do all the upgrades on it. Set that one aside from the rest. Do the power wire upgrades on the inside of this thing, put a new cabinet lid on it. So we were just talking on the phone, he would have been better off just buying a whole new box, but the problem is nobody wants to wait that 5 to 6 months to get anything out of here, and it's like, well, sorry, there's only one of me to do the job, you know. Come on. There we go. There we go. 2 more. Oh well, gotta wait for quality. Of course, everybody that's in this business is just slammed up to their eyeballs with work right now. Just ridiculous. And with Skip coming back, we're going to see that pick up again. Been kind of quiet around here the last couple weeks. So we're getting 100 phone calls a day. I've only been getting like 15 or 20. The trick is torquing these just right so you don't screw up your solder footprint. You don't want to burn the tabs up. You don't want to now what we do is we go in and we clean all this up. Come on. You just don't want to get too carried away because this phenolic starts to peel up after about your third or your fourth time of reheating the tab. The glue that holds the copper phenolic down on the board has a tendency to disintegrate and come up. If you're real careful and you got a skillful, patient hand, you can clean it up and not tear it up too bad. Alright, so let's pull this burnt tin ohmer out. 10 ohm smoke. Throw that in the trash bin. Alright. Here we go. there's like 4 different standard sizes that all the different companies use. I try to make them all match. Alright. So the gold's going to go out. Face it and orientate them in the same direction. Alright, we're going to leave everything as it sits. I'm going to go wash this out real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, it's dry by now. So what I do is I take this outside, and I got this cleaner. It's called Comet Blue Wash. It's about $45 a can. It's the only thing I found that'll clean it up, not screw up and leave white residue all over the inside of the cabinet, and won't screw up the clear. But it's Comet Blue Wash. I buy it off of Amazon. Let's fix this diode while I'm in here. There, it's back in its holder now. And I come in here and I blow out all the shmew, the jizz and stuff. Now the reason we're doing this, I don't know if you guys can see here. Let me zoom down in on this here. I'll bring it up to the... If you look down in here, even after you blow out all the heat conductive cream, there's little pieces of flux and old shmew and stuff that's in here. Any kind of space that's between the transistor foot and the heat sink is a lack of conductivity of heat. So you always wash the pocket out. You never want to go straight swap. And you come through and you clean out the socket real good. You clean all the shmoo out of here. I figure at $65 a transistor you can take 10 minutes, you know, and clean the pill socket out real good so you got nice, good, smooth, clean contact surface. I mean, really? Don't take much, just a little tiny ball of solder and half the transistor won't make contact with the heatsink. Okay. Let's get some more fun, happy coupons out here. There's 1, 2, 5, 6. Tester. Now this is actually very important. If you take your amp to your technician and he doesn't get out a gain leak checker and check the gains on all the transistors and match them up, get your box, get the parts, walk out the door. Okay. 75. They don't have to be dead on, but they got to be close, otherwise they'll fight each other on the way down. Oh, that's a hot one. Sweet. It's got an absolute HF gain of 102. I doubt we're going to get another one that's that high. So those two can live together for the rest of time. Retest it. That's an 85. Remember, that's the hot one. It's an 85. It's an 81. Those two can live in the same universe. I'm not going to get another transistor to match that. No way. It's a 79. Let's see here. Let's grab some more fun, happy coupons. Retest. Retest. There we go. It's an 84. It's a good transistor. All right. It's an 81. So those two can live together. We'll roll with that. Okay, so now the gains are actually checked. Okay. I like to use silver-based heat conductive cream. That schmoo they sell at Radio Shack is not that. So I'm going to do that one here, this one here, and that one there. Okay. Just a little dab will do you. Those of you that have watched my videos in the past, you'll I preach about this hydraulic cupping thing that happens from too much heat sink compound. So just a paper thin amount. And because the heat sink that we're going to is relatively flat and polished, you have to use a very thin amount of it. Now, if you guys ever take the time and look, shit, I got a hair in there or something. A little piece of schmoo. The ears on a 2879 transistor little pieces of lint. The ear where the screw goes through is actually canted up when they're brand new. So instead of being perfectly flat, the ear is actually torqued up a little bit to help push the center of the transistor down. And also on the face of that same ear, this side right here is slanted. Okay? So the bottom's kicked up just a little bit, it's bent up actually, and flat. And the ear on the transistor is like this, it's kicked up at an angle. So when you go to torque it down, it presses the transistor flat onto the heatsink. You don't want to get any heat sink compound onto those tabs at all. Okay? Nothing can get on the tabs. It'll cause you to have a slight amount of loss of conductivity, which will make the transistor run unevenly hot. I mean, we're talking detail to the 9th degree. I'm sure that you can slap the transistors in there. I've stopped one in there back in the day and it worked fine and never had to go to that level of detail. Look, these things are so valuable anymore, you guys, that I really, when people send me up and they're willing to spend the money to repill their box, I really, honestly, do every single thing I can to guarantee that the product that comes out of here is going to be the best that they can get their hands on for what they've paid. Because this shit's getting expensive, man, I'm telling you. Beautiful. And vice versa, as you're putting this transistor down, you don't want it to bump into the board or anything and let any shmew get underneath the leads or make your surface area that you're going to solder into fouled in any way. Shit, man, I'm working completely out of frame. Remember, this only takes 25 inch-pounds of pressure, which is not that much. It's very, very light. Oh, you don't say, huh, Momo? Such a good boy. Don't get carried away. These strip out real easy, you guys. Oh yeah, don't ever use a drill. Yes, you can get a drill bit that will fit in the end of these screws. Sure enough. Don't ever use a drill. Do these all by hand. Word to the wise. Okay. So we're going to take these fakers. We're going to send them back. No use, no interest, no desire in these whatsoever. Send that back to the customer. Put a big old B for bad on the top of that one. Ziploc that on the, or tape that on the outside of the bag. Set those aside. I just think it's funny. This whole situation, I think, is funny that the original owner didn't want to do this. What I'm doing right now. Who I think was the second owner, didn't want to have this done. And here it is back here anyhow to get it fixed. So now what I do, me personally, is I take a pair of blunt nose, needle nose like this. They're flat, but that edge isn't round, or that edge isn't sharp, it's rounded. And I reach in here, and I go right up next to the body of the transistor and I press the tab leg down. The reason you do that is it gives more direct surface area of the transistor to conduct directly to the board. So we're decreasing the distance, so the leg comes out, right? And we're bending it down, but not sharply, bending it down, rolling it down, and then rolling the edge back out, rolling it over. You don't want to make a hard turn. Like if that was perfectly square, I would never use these. I've actually taken them, and you can see where I've sanded them to make them so they're round. So it's got a nice sloping bend to it, because any hard angle, you have to worry about flex, because everything moves just a little bit. And that flex, well, we've all taken a piece of aluminum and done this with it, broke it. So if you got a nice smooth flowing round bend at the bottom of it, you've decreased the distance that the current has to travel through the tab leg. Instead of this way, all the way from the end of the tab leg up into the pill, if you bend it down and over, it's only got to travel the height of the cap to get into the part. Makes it just a little bit better. And right now, you're saying to me, well, but BBI, you're giving away all the secrets. No, I'm not. This is a simple pill change. Most people wouldn't have the patience to do this anyhow. So now we'll solder the transistors in. So now there's a couple of techniques that I just did there that I'm not talking about on the camera, but if you look real close you'll see them. There we go. There it goes. There's a couple guys that I know of for a fact. They're going to study what I'm doing here underneath a microscope. A couple of them are going to look at it from the point of view of, man, I'm going to learn how to do this so I can do it myself. Another couple guys are going to look at it from the point of view of, I better watch what he's doing so I can go talk shit about him and point out what he's done wrong, supposedly. Never understood that. I've done thousands of amplifiers and they're still trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And then there's going to be the other guy who's going to study this and go, oh. They're going to think about what they're doing as they're building their boxes. And they're going to change how they do things. It's okay, it'll help them become legends too. Not saying that I'm that, because I am not. I need to be like Tech 9 and get myself one of them little tabletop Lazy Susans, cover it up in cork. Oh, I can spin it around. I was also thinking about having a jig built that I could clamp the amp in. I could orientate it around any way I wanted to and make it so I work up here. Still filming, baby. I love you. I just got my wife to cuss. Oh, shit. Well, the 5.1 surround sound microphone that's on top of this Sony 4K Ultra camera I've got will have picked that up, I guarantee it. Probably coming out to tell me dinner's ready. The main reason I'm doing this live on camera is that this amp has been through so many hands at this point, and it involves fake parts, that I wanted to document the installation of the actual transistors and document the removal of the transistors that were in question. So therefore we don't have to deal with any questions downline. Did he really, or did he not? So what you want is smooth and laminate like that. No chicken poop, no burned up traces, no gobbles of solder anywhere, not a bunch of flux. Just smooth and clean. Man, dinner smells good. I'll be back for the wrap portion of the video where I wrap it up. Gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed or learned something. I'll see you. Bye. Man, I'm getting tired. It's time to be done. Well, John, here you go, buddy. 6 bills all been redone. Now, like I said in the other videos, this had the fake 2879s in it. I went in here and redid all the solder work. Put all new balancing resistors in, or the buffer resistors in here. Replaced all the combiner resistors that are in here. Replaced the positive feed system that was in here. Move the positive wires down so you'll see that your little pigtail's a little bit shorter now. But instead of having all the positive wires stacked down here on the end of the bus bar, I split them up. So one goes here, the other one goes here. So it splits the load up evenly. So this gets equal amount of feed, this gets equal amount of feed, and that gets equal amount of feed. That way the bus bar isn't trying to carry all the current. Move the caps around so they're evenly spaced. So this one's got its own cap, this one's got its own cap, and that 2-pill's got its own cap. Redid your output tune. Redid your input tune, tightened up your ground nut, tightened up the remote, popped a new LED out the front, and then I wanted digging because this shit, no. Yeah, that's where we're gonna file that. I went to digging and I found him a new lid, and I got him a true high flow fan for the inside of this puppy, an Evercool. Now, It is a little loud, but that's because of the grill guard that's on the front and the high flow fan pushing air through the cabinet. All that aside, man, this box is going to run and 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 run for you. We're going to run today with our Connex 4400. We're going to use that 5-watt slug that sits between the Connex 4400 and the straight 6-pill. 1000-watt slug in 2x and PEP position, so it's reading like a 2000-watt scale slug, or 2000-watt slug. Full deflection in the meter is 2000 watts. So right here at the 50 mark, between the 40 and the 60 is 1000. 1000, 12, 14, 16, 18, 2 grand. And we're going to run somewhere in about the 1600 mark, 5500 to, or 1500 to 1600 watt mark. We're on 14 volts today, 14.5. And let's see, we got 1000-watt slug in the forward position and average, 5-watt slug in reverse, back from the bird, 10,000-watt dummy load. If you guys can't tell, I'm exhausted, I'm on autopilot. I haven't left out here for a couple days. I've just been trying to jam stuff out the door as fast as I can get it done. So let's drop the tin on this real quick. Now every PIM nut on this box has been knocked out throughout the process of its multiple owners. It's like I was telling Brian, this amp has been here a couple times now. This is on the phone with Truck, and I said finally its latest owner is willing to fix the box instead of putting it up for sale on eBay. So we're going to tighten down the only screw with a PIM nut in it. The rest of the screws are these screws for fans. So we'll get all of those put in there in a minute. But here we go. Fan on. First off, let me show you drive. Grab the mic for the Connex. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. So right at about 130 watts or so. Let's put that down on 1X. So that makes sense to everybody. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Putting about 50 bird into it. Put that back up on 2X. Fire down. Amp on. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. I gotta fix that mic cable. Hello, audio. Seen about 16 to 1700, 1500 to 1600 peak, and about 500-600 bird. Hello, come on, Mike. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Here's where we're pulling for volts and amps. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. It's this stupid RK. Hello. Oh, still not working. Hello, audio. About 140 amps. Truck. Can you send me a new Ranger microphone to replace this one, please? John, you're all done, bud. It's cleaned up, straightened up, and it's going to run forever now. We got all the goobers out of it. Here's your original transistors that were in there. These fake ones. Like I said, the bad ones taped on the... Hold it up in frame, Luke. Man, I am getting tired. Here's your original transistors. The bad ones taped on the outside of the bag. The ones that are good-ish, as in like I don't know what they are, and they're fake. Maybe you can give them to a buddy or something to put in his box, get them running. They'll be taped to the top of the cabinet, probably just like that. The only thing left to do is to slap a BBI sticker on it. We're going to send her out the door. Gentlemen, my name is BBI. Without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Please come check us out, www.bbiamps.com. If you got a question that isn't answered on my Facebook page or my web page, hit me up on Facebook or just call me at this number. Gentlemen, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I'm going to go sleep the shit out of my bed right now. I'll see you, boys. Have a good night. Bye.